Good evening, traders. This is CloudChartist with your daily grain wrap-up for the 25th of August, Tuesday. This is our daily chart here. We see that we have a very long topping tail and a very short bottoming tail, but regardless, we so technically we put an inside candle in today with a higher low and a lower high. We did not get back to the flat Tenkan-sen that I suspected we might. Sellers came in the afternoon around 3 and sold us off significantly in the last moments. I heard that a very large order came into the NYSE floor at 3. This is just a rumor. I have no confirmation of this. But obviously there was some very high volume selling at the end of the day today, at least in the ES, and also the market internals shifted significantly at about 3 o'clock. We had green, very green market internals, and then they took a serious dive at 3. So I won't postulate as to any reasons. Let's just look at the chart. So I consider it to be pretty positive that we did manage to close above the prior candle's close and the prior candle low. So as for going forward, this also could be a potential reversal type candle, but we would need a confirmation of that with a higher high and a higher low. I don't have any indication that price action is going to go lower at this point, although the chart is bearish in Ichimoku terms. We do have a flat Tenkan-sen above, which suggests potential for a bounce. We're sold, and we do see the RSI shifting slightly to the upside, representing the momentum of this today's previously giant gap up candle that came back and retested the gap and closed slightly higher. So let's look at crude. The crude API just came out and was a larger than expected draw, I believe. I don't have the figures in front of me, but obviously we had a bullish reaction. In fact, I'll just show you the shorter time frame chart. Let's look at the 15 minutes so you can see the reaction after the API came out. We got this buying from taking us back off the lows and back into the upper ranges of the day's trading. So back to the daily. So the daily is an inside candle today. It put in a higher low but a lower high, and I expect only a small topping tail at this point. We made up a lot of grounds on that, right before the close there. So I expect chances are good for a test higher at perhaps the 40.74 Tenkan-sen above, and that will be decisive at that level or wherever the Tenkan-sen is tomorrow or the next day or whenever it gets tested, if it gets tested, to see whether or not it's just an oversold bounce and we're going to go lower, or if we're going to actually break above the Tenkan-sen and go higher. If we look back to this July bounce that we got on the 27th and 28th, 29th, you see that we put in a potential reversal candle and confirmed the reversal, but we were rejected by the Tenkan-sen on these two candles and then sold off for lower prices and continued to sell and have held beneath the Tenkan-sen ever since. So that's it for crude. Let's look at some grain charts. Looking at corn. Corn daily was a doji type candle, spinning top type doji candle with a very large topping tail, suggesting bearishness, but we did manage to close above the Tenkan-sen, so we're still holding support of the Tenkan-sen, but overall the chart is bearish under the cloud. We didn't make it all the way up to the Kijun-sen to test it, nor did we fill this small gap here from the 11th and 12th. So important for tomorrow's price action is whether or not we're able to hold the Tenkan-sen at 376.13. If we do hold the Tenkan-sen, then just more sideways action with potential for going higher. But overall, and you see that the Chikou span, this red line representing price time shifted 26 periods into the past, is managing to hold the cloud nicely here. Let's look at wheat. Let's see, that's also the 3.5. Similar to corn, but different. We did not manage to hold the Tenkan-sen on wheat. After closing above the Tenkan-sen previously, we lost the Tenkan-sen today and closed under with a small bottoming tail, still in the same general range that we've been trading in for several days now, in fact a couple of weeks. Almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, over a week. This range between 500 and 512, small range. So today we came up and almost tested the Kijun-sen, but failed and then sold off and sold under the Tenkan-sen. So this chart is bearish in all ways, Ichimoku, and you notice that the Chikou over here does not have support as the corn Chikou did. Let's go to soybeans. Soybeans put in a spinning top type doji candle, very small body, but it did put in a higher high and a higher low, so trend changed to the upside on soybeans after this bottom low was put in at 855. I said yesterday that this large bottoming tail offered hope for a bottom being put in on soybeans, and so far that seems to be the case. We put in a higher close. So if we do go higher, and actually it looks like we did fill, let's see where this close was, 890.25, and the high today was 880. No, we didn't quite close the body gap here. We might have closed the, let's see what the low was, 888.75. So we did close the gap if you just like to think of gap closes as being tails. I like to have the whole body gap filled. So we didn't quite fill the body gap, but we did fill the tail gap. So if we do go higher, we're going to have the potential for price rejection at the Tenkan-sen above, which is currently at 891.75. And we would need to go above, get above that to test higher prices up towards the flat Kijun-sen above at 932. Well, that's not going to happen immediately, I don't think. Let's look at bean oil. After a very bearish candle, but very long bottoming tail, we put in a smaller hammer type candle, an inside candle with a lower high and a higher low. The body at the same level, this 2685 area, 2686 area held as support. So if we do go higher, we can look at 2766, the Tenkan-sen, to resist, and that is also the gap close of this candle, this unfilled gap here. So it'd be good to get that gap filled on, then we'll see whether we go higher or lower from there. Overall, the chart is bearish, but progress was made today with this, with this green inside candle. What have I forgotten? Soybeans? No, I did soybeans. I think that about does it. Oh, let's look at coffee, because I always like to look at coffee. Coffee put in another bearish day. Wow, quite a selling extravaganza ever since we broke back into the cloud and then lost the cloud here. So coffee, again, a lower high and a lower low, so still in a downtrend. Smaller candle today, so maybe downtrend slowing, looking like we're going to test the lows again. Chances are good for that tomorrow, and maybe hold them. So potentially look for a bounce around this 119.85 area, or we could go lower. This is real bearish, these last several candles, but this is a test of prior lows, and let's see if we go out. Yeah, we'll see if these prior lows can hold. If not, then we could definitely see lower. Let's look at a longer time frame chart for the fun of it on coffee. So we do have, if we look out to a longer time frame, we can see that this was I think I mentioned this on one of my other videos. This is a prior resistance area, so turned potential support. So that's what we hit today. If we do go lower, there's another prior support area around 113.50 down below. That's from 2013, so keep that in mind. All right, thank you for watching, and have a good evening.